is a quick demo of what we call our investor portal, where we help investors find and manage properties. But today we're just going to be focused on how we find the best deals. So I've got my screen over here, so I'll be looking over here. But let me kind of zoom out a little bit with what are the four big stages, right? We've done this multiple times, and it really boils down to four big stages of like who does what and in what order. Stage one being the most important one. So let me kind of backtrack a little bit. We've got investors, we've got real estate agents that we can handle all this for you, but most people have their own agent, which we're completely fine with working with. It'll just be a referral agreement between us, and then we'll kind of divide it up. Now, if you want us to handle all four of these stages, more than happy to, but usually it boils down into these four stages. Step one, finding the property. Step two, touring the property. Step three, tweaking the numbers analysis that we did in step one. And then number four, kind of bringing everything to the finish line, the negotiations, seller credits, concessions, all that. So I'll kind of go into detail each one and kind of show you what the investor portal actually looks like and how we actually use it on a day-to-day basis. So step one, really just finding the property and doing a quick underwriting. So this is a lot more than back in the napkin underwriting, but it's a way to compare apples to apples. So we have a literal formula and algorithm to how we're underwriting everything, like how we calculate lawn care to management to renovations, things like that. Like it's making sure we compare apples to apples. This is the most important part, and this is where almost all of our all the investors that we've helped, this is where they all get stuck. This is where a lot of people just sit on the sidelines because they're not exactly sure if this property is going to make sense. The benefit with working with us is like we manage like almost 40 units at this time. It's 2025 in May. We're growing like a weed, but we are dialed in with like what the operations look like. Now the revenue, I don't want to get too much in the weeds. It's a completely different topic, but like the revenue and the operations expenses, those, a lot of agents just know, have an idea of like, oh, this property should appreciate. It's in a good area, but they have no idea of like how much can this property actually gross? Like, is it 60 grand a year? Is it 80 grand a year? That's a huge difference. One's negative cash flow, one is positive cash flow. So finding a property and underwriting it, we are dialed in with the revenue and the expenses. So we're the most qualified to do this, which is the most important part here. So we'll do a lot of this, which I'll show you what the investor portal looks like. Step two, once we've kind of identified the properties, we'll usually run about 500 to 1,000 depending on what market and how many properties are for sale. And then usually we'll pick like 2 to 5 of those 500 to 1,000 that make sense on paper. Now, once again, this is just on paper. We need to do a lot more due diligence, which is done in step two and even step 3 and 4, making sure the property is worth an investment. So everything we do, step one is just data from behind a computer. Going to see the property and like walking it is one of it's a very important part as well. So touring the property. So that looks like, is there any major renovations? Is there anything like that is structural damage, like foundation, roof, HVAC was making a weird noise, might have to replace that. So we're going to get a pretty good idea of like what kind of renovations is there, deferred maintenance on this property. That's going to all come down into step two. Once again, your agent can do it or our agents can do that for you. And then from step two, we tweak our analysis that we did in step one. So let's say we were like, oh, this property, you need to add, pool, hot tub, like it'll be about 40 grand. You go to the property and you're like, actually this foundation is rotting, it's cracked, like that'll be another 20 grand. So we take all that, everything that we've learned in step 1 and 2 to tweak our analysis. And then we reanalyze the property just to make sure we're all on the same page with the ROI, the cash flow, who's doing what, making sure we do all this due diligence before we put in an offer. So that's step 4 is offer negotiations, making sure you got your seller credits, concessions, down payment, all that. Once again, handled by the agent. Step 2 and 4, and then we do 1 and 3. We can do all 4 if you choose, but that's kind of high level, the 4 process. I'm going to focus more on like what the portal looks like and how we actually use it. For the next like minute or so, we'll maybe this one. This might be a good one. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So this one right here. So you can see. Let me move me over a little bit. ROI. So cash flow ROI. We'll usually sort by that, and then we'll look at the monthly cash flow. The FYI, the monthly cash flow is after management and mortgage. So we usually underwrite these at about 7.5% interest rate, and then about 25% down. Every investor is going to be a little bit different. We can tweak these, if you're a 50% down or you're buying it cash, like we can do that. Or if you're pre-approved for 6.9% interest rate, we can go in and just tweak these very quickly and then reanalyze it to get you more of an accurate cash flow, appreciation, all that. So let me just take this one right here and just kind of, I'll walk you through the big ones here. So you've got a lot of MLS data here. You got the all the MLS fields. We pull a lot of those in, and then we also pull in the AirDNA fields. So ADR, occupancy, and annual revenue. Those are the big AirDNA. AirDNA is a data provider to project what a short-term rental will make on the market. So this is where we come in. We essentially tailor what the property looks like compared to the comps, because long-term rental is super easy to figure out. Okay, this 3.2 in Plaza Midwood is going to do, 1,500, 1,800, whatever it is. Short-term rental, you're going to have a property that's doing 40 grand. You're going to have a property that's doing 120 grand. So there's a huge delta with there. We'll hand underwrite these. And then here's all kind of your operating expenses down here. So this is kind of the ROI. Once again, this is a live property. I don't know if it's for sale anymore. Probably won't be by the time you watch it. We've got appreciation, loan pay down, a ton of data here, but all that to say is we only work on the top 1%. There's a lot of properties that just don't make sense. 90% don't make sense. So we only want to work on the cream of the crop. So that's kind of how it works from a portal standpoint. We usually run this about once a week and then send it out to our investor pool. And then we'll typically do the showings and things like that. So let me know if you have any questions at all. Happy to answer some follow-ups.